Alright, we are on our way to the Wenatchee Guard Station. We've been on the road probably 6 hours. Carrie is driving now. This is part of her training to get used to towing a camper with a big pickup truck. Carrie's not afraid of learning anything. She has mastered the art of competitive shooting with a revolver. You are never too old to learn anything, and you're never too old to teach anything. So this is part of her continual, and basically it should be everybody's continual effort in life to keep learning new things so that you are confident in more things. And that's the end of my commercial. Hey POTA fam, it's Jim. It's fast forward to Sunday. Carrie drove all the way, it's 31 miles of dirt roads, to the Wenatchee Guard Station. Why do they call it the Wenatchee Guard Station? We're nowhere near Wenatchee or the Wenatchee National Forest? I don't know. We are in the Umatilla National Forest. We're about 6,000 feet above sea level. When I got up this morning at 4:30, it was 31 degrees outside in June. So heat is a good thing. Why did I bring the camper? As I said, heat's a good thing. See that big propane tank? I don't know if it's full or not, or if it's going to run out in the middle of our trip. The other thing is the door lock is a battery-powered lock. I'm not going to take for granted that those batteries didn't run out, and we have to drive 31 miles back to where we can get a cell phone signal, call the ranger station, hope they answer, and give us a combination, or come out and change the batteries in the lock. So always have a backup plan. I have 2 propane tanks on the camper, a spare one in the truck. It can snow here in June. If it would have been raining last night at 31, we would have woken up to snow. So always be prepared. And by the way, Mrs AB0EZ did an excellent job of driving the truck 31 miles. She had to thread the needle a lot because trees had fallen across the road. They cut them basically wide enough to get a truck through. They're not going to cut the whole tree, they're just going to cut a path for you to pull through, and you got to center it with the truck and the camper, and she did a great job. It does have a facility here. It's a vault toilet. It was very clean, fully stocked. It was pretty impressive. It is not exclusive to this campsite. Anybody can use it, and we had a lady come. She's parking over, or camping over there in what looks like a Sprinter van. She had 2 small dogs. She's out on the end of one of these vistas, like you can see over there. A great campsite. The view, as you can see, is incredible. I believe those are the Blue Mountains, and if you look more to the west, it is the Cascades. We can't see from here, but let's go over here. Oh, I'm using my usual antenna for this trip. It's 25-foot vertical for res systems with their big coil, which 25 foot, I can run 30 meters, but I have to use a coil. I had it set up for 30 meters last night. I operated until about 11, went to bed. Got up this morning and 30 meters was on fire and worked all over the place on it. Here's the coil. That's all the coil I need on there for 40 meters. So the coil is basically tapped here. So I've got all the rest of this room for 80. I have not tried 160 yet, but I will at some point. Talking about the cab. Let me face this way so they can hear me. Did I miss something?
Your little puck thing.
Oh, yes. Well, I'm going to make a separate video on my GPS time setup. Since there is no internet access here, there is no phone. Time of day is worthless here on your cell phone. That's my GPS antenna. That little round hockey puck. At times I have 12 satellites in view. And time of day is no problem for modes like FT8, FT4, anything that needs an accurate time of day. Not an issue. So, let's talk about the cabin. The shutters. When we got here Friday, it was crazy windy. You're going to want these shutters shut because it howls. For anybody who is elderly, has any kind of physical impairment, these stairs are very uneven. That's a big step. That's a smaller step. I have an artificial knee. I had it replaced last July. That's no problem for me, but it might be for others.
As you can see, the ground is very rocky. Yeah.
And as we're speaking, you might see little flakes. It's trying to snow. Strange I should mention that because it wasn't 5 minutes ago. So you have a fire pit, you have a very nice picnic table. Here's the back porch. You have a door here and you got the back porch. Right now I'm charging the Blue Eddy, which is I run my a MacBook Pro at night with, rather than the inverter off my big battery setup, because the inverter is noisy. I showed Carrie this morning what it's like, and it's unusable for anything because of the noise of that inverter. So I run a Blue Eddy power station off the USB-C charging port, and that powers my Mac Pro all night as long as I want to operate. Works really good, and it's silent. You can't tell any difference noise-wise. All right, so let's go in the cabin. And this cabin is cheap to rent. It does have propane lighting and heating. It does have a lot of kitchen utensils. It does not have running water, so make sure to bring your water. There is some potable water springs, but you have to boil it. And this is Luna, the Looney Rarty rescue dog. There is one bedroom here. Now those are two beds pushed together, and someone has zipped in a plastic sheet cover. So make sure you bring enough bedding to put under you, or you're going to sweat against that plastic. Been there, done that. You get too hot on one side, as soon as you turn over, that side's cold because you're evaporating. Same thing here. There's two beds. This is fine. These are the propane lamps. They're just like a coin. They have a globe on them, a mantle. Make sure you are careful when you light them and don't touch it. They are basically dust. The gas burns on the dust, and that's what makes light. Here's my setup. You guys have all seen it before. I have 200 amp hour lithium iron phosphate batteries in parallel for 200 amp hours or thereabouts. Right now I'm running the inverter because it's daytime. I'm on 17 meters, which is what my antenna was tuned for, and it's been pretty busy. You can see there's a lot of stations on. I did try 20 meter voice yesterday with the 891, which I have set up more optimized for voice than my ICOM 7300. I made one park to park and it was rough. Voice was not doing good yesterday on 20. Here is the propane stove. It does have a pilot light that you just have to push the igniter button down and it does fire up. It's kind of a pain. It does have a propane refrigerator, and they leave it on all the time, so you don't have to bother with that pilot light. Let's come on into the kitchen. Here's our igloo. Has a sink that drains into a bucket. I just throw the extra water in the fire pit, especially when we're leaving, to make sure we don't leave anything burning or smoldering. Stove. This is a pain in the butt to light the pilot light. It is under here in the back left corner. If you have an artificial knee like me, or an artificial shoulder like me, or any other kind of physical impairment, it is not easy to light that. Carrie had to light it. She's my hero.
It's actually in the center, not on the left. The directions say left, but it's in the center.
Perfectly clear.
Yeah.
That's about it for this cabin.
That's the back door.
Yeah, that's the back door. That's the Blue Eddy power station. Mm-hmm. If Lynn would get out of the way. That I run my MacBook Pro. Carrie charges her iPad with. She uses it offline when we're off grid like this to do puzzles and things.
Oh, just so you know, there are totes with pots and pans, just about everything you can use. There's silverware in the drawers.
Some utensils.
Some utensils. And dishes.
Yeah, just be aware you have to wash everything. Heat the water, wash and sink, empty the bucket.
Yeah. And there's a few sundry items people have left.
We're going to leave some paper towels and some other things when we go. For the next people, like I said, if you forget something, it's 31 miles one way.
Yeah,
to
slow.
Pomeroy, which basically is a one-horse town. So yesterday, and I'll insert a screenshot here, I got to work Michael Martin's KB9 VVR 30 meters. I've worked him several times on FT8 Never Voice, but hope to meet the guy one day and work him on sideband as well. And to another friend of mine, Michael Fafley, you guys will probably know him, K3FEF. He has the SDS receiver, or SDR receiver, I'm sorry, up in Pennsylvania. He told me the other day he really admires me that I have so much energy, and I have 3 kinds of cancer that I'm fighting. And Mike, I admire you. Thanks for you guys all working me, and hopefully nobody gets upset. Oh, I was going to talk about how I set myself up for FDA. When I'm out doing an off-grid park, in my settings, I set this to answer for maximum dB. I have a finite amount of battery power, which means I have only so many transmit-receive cycles. You know, when someone says, they call me, I answer them, and it just goes back and forth 50 times. That's a lot of wasted battery power. So I just have to go with the maximum, most bang I can get for the buck, especially at the prices of fuel. It took us, what, a tank and a half of gas to get here? It takes another tank and a half to get back. It's a lot of windy roads to get here. And that's just what I have found works best for me. I'm not so picky when we're at a state park where I can plug into commercial power. And I've got the luxury of, I don't have to worry about batteries running out. And that has happened. It happened at LB Hills. And I had finished operating, we were listening to the Country Cousins Net. It's a local 3968 group of Washington, Oregon, California, blah, blah, blah. A bunch of good old boys, and they've always offered, if you get stuck, you need any help, you call us. We're listening to them, and all of a sudden the radio shuts off. Low voltage. The battery management system said, you're done, so it can happen. That's about it. There was one more thing I wanted to say, was doing POTA on the work bands, and this is to anybody that may see this. I have 2 answers for those guys that say, the work bands ain't for contesting. My number 1 response is, thank you for your input, Mr. No Call Sign. The other response is, let me ask you one question. Did you ever hear me say CQ contest? I have been met with silence every time I've asked either one of those questions. So, guys, it's a hobby. Take it as such. Don't make it complicated. All right, guys, that's about it. Does Mrs AB0EZ have anything to say?
Nope.
How do you like doing the POTA stuff?
Oh, it's fun. Yeah. It was a bit windy this trip, so I couldn't sit outside very much, but...
Yeah, we couldn't have a campfire. Okay, next month I think we're staying at a cabin for the 4th of July. We won't be at a park. We'll probably do some day trips and trying to get into Mount Rainier National Park. I can get in free because I'm a veteran, but you wouldn't believe the line is probably 5 miles long to get into that park on the 4th of July or anywhere around it. So that's it from here. This is US 43, what is it? Can't read my own writing. 4385, Umatilla National Forest. Oh, I want to say this park is in Oregon and Washington State, so it should count for 2 states. I'm not sure. I've never done a park that is spread over 2 states. So that's it from the Wenatchee Guard Station. 73, everybody. We'll catch you on the next one. Ciao.